Today we will be discussing second module of soft computing. Okay. Before starting the discussion, let us have a brief understanding about what is meant by machine learning and what are the basic two types of machine learning. Actually, machine learning means making the computers work themselves. That means the computer has to find out a solution for a particular problem. Since these machines are not having any intelligence, how is it possible to make them work for themselves? This is applicable or this is possible by continuously feeding them with the same kind of data, lots of information about a particular thing, and making the systems understand the concept. Like that, we can train the computers and make them do some kind of work themselves, identifying the key features and underlying patterns from those feeded data. The computers will be able to get into a trained model, and by these they can work for themselves. This is known as machine learning. This is the basic concept of machine learning. And the two types of machine learning can be supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning means the learning procedure is taking place under some kind of supervision. When we are speaking about the case of computers, we will be giving the network will be provided with some kind of labeled data. That means if we are going to train the network an image of a cat, a label called cat will be associated with that particular input image, so that the network will be trained using this particular image and will classify it into a class with the label cat. Then comes the unsupervised learning. In the case of unsupervised learning, the learning does not have any supervision. So when we are speaking about the network models, neural network model, the data provided will be unlabeled data. That means if we are giving the image of a cat, in the case of an unsupervised learning, there will be no label called cat. So by analyzing some of the features and patterns from that image, the network will classify it into a particular group. It will not, the output also does not have any labels. So this is the basic difference between a supervised and an unsupervised learning strategy or learning method. Next, we are going to deal with perceptron network. Actually, perceptron is a feed-forward network which works under the supervised learning category. So, perceptron is a feed-forward network and it is uses supervised learning for classification problems. So, basically, there are three units in a perceptron neural network. One is sensory unit, next is associator unit, and response unit. Sensory unit means the input unit. Associator unit is the hidden unit, and response unit is the final output unit. In that, the input will be given to the input unit, that is the sensory unit, and which is connected to an associator unit with some fixed weight. It can be 1 0 and minus 1. The network will randomly choose the value 1 0 or minus 1, but with these fixed weight, every input unit is connected to an associator unit. Then binary function, activation function, is used in sensory as well as the associator unit. These kind of activations are used to make the output lie in between a particular range. Then only the classification can be done easily. So in the case of a perceptron neural network, binary activation function is used in the sensory and the associator unit. Then the response unit has an activations of 1 0 and minus 1. Basically it is classified into three classes, 1 0 and minus 1. Then the output of the perceptron network is given by the equation y is equal to f of y in. Let us see what is y in. In the case of perceptron neural network, since every sensory unit is associated with the associator unit, at the associator unit, a weighted sum of the input will be found out. That is yn. Yn is the weighted sum of all the inputs. And f of yn is the activation function applied on the net input yn. And we will fix a threshold theta And if yin, the obtained net input from the associator unit, if yin is greater than theta, f of yin will belongs to class 1, will have a value 1. And if it is between negative theta and positive theta, it belongs to 0. And if it is less than negative theta, it belongs to minus 1. Then if we had find out f of yin, and yin, the output y is equal to f of yin. So how the learning rule is taking place in a perceptron network is, will compare it with the output class. That means the obtained output will be compared with the target class. If it matches, it belongs to that particular class, it is true. So the training has been done in a well and appropriate manner. But when we are testing with a particular image, and if it does not fall into the corresponding class which it should fall, then some kind of weight updation has to be done. Weight updation means the edge weight between the associator unit and the response unit must be changed. This is the equation, or this is the formula by which the weight updation is doing. That is Wi of nu equal to Wi of old plus alpha t xi, and bias nu is equal to bias old plus alpha t, where alpha is the learning rate which have a value between 0 and 1, and t is the target which can have either plus 1 or minus 1. This is the architecture of perceptron network with 3 unit. First, it have a sensory unit which is connected to the associator unit, and the associator unit will be connected to the response unit. At the response unit, the output obtained and the target output will be compared. If it is equal, the classification is done properly. Otherwise, weight updation has to be done using this equation. This is the diagram of a single classification network. Will have input which is represented by x1, xi, xn, x1 to xn. Each is connected to associator unit with a weight w1, w2, etc. And it will have a bias. Y, we will in the associator unit we will find out yin, which is the weighted sum of the input. And at y, an activation function will be applied on this net input, and based on the values of this activation function we will classify it into different classes. This is the working example. For example, consider we have two classes, class 1 and class 2. Class 1 contain fruit 1 and class 2 contain fruit 2, and two parameters are given, weight and length. So by analyzing these values, and if we draw a graph, we will get it like this. That means we can draw a linear line between the two classes, so that we can say that this kind of problems are linearly separable problems. When it is linearly separable problems, we can do it by using a single output class perceptron neural network. Next comes the multiple output class. These are used when the problems are not linearly separable. That means we cannot distinguish between two classes we cannot separate two classes using a straight line between them. In this case, every sensory unit, that is every input unit, will be connected to multiple output classes with corresponding weights. By observing this figure, we can understand that first input unit x1 is connected to y1, yj and ym. But in the case of a single output class, it will be connected to one output class, and we'll find out the output. But here every input will be connected to multiple output classes. This kind of network architecture is used when the problems are not linearly separable. Problem. Consider the example of XOR problem. For XOR, if we are giving two input 0, 0, the output is 0. And again, if it is 0, 1, we will get 1. And 1, 0, we will get 1. Then 1, 1, the output should be 0. So from this observation, when we draw a graph, we will get like this. 0, 0 will be at this point, 1, 0 will be 0, 0 at the origin point, then 1, 0, 1, 1 and 0, 1. Here 0, 1 and 1, 0 belongs to one class. See here, 0, 1 belongs to target value 1 and 1, 0 belongs to target value 1. Similarly, 0, 0 belongs to target value 0 and 1, 1 belongs to target value 0. So these kind of problems are not linearly separable. In these situations, instead of using a single output class perceptron network, multiple output class perceptron network will be used. And the equation output of the network is find out using yj is equal to f of y in j equal to 1, 0 or minus 1. If it is greater than theta 1, if between minus theta and negative positive theta it is 0, and if it is less than negative theta, minus 1. Then in the case of if the output class does not belong to the target class, some kind of weight updation has to be done. But here all the weight has to be updated. That means for a particular input it will have many weights because it is connected to multiple output class. So all the weight has to be updated, and if target is not equal to the obtained output, then the weight updation has to be done using this formula. Here instead of the one weight for a one input class, all the weight has to be updated. Yij of new equal to wij of new equal to wij of old plus alpha tj xi, and bj of new equal to bj of old plus alpha tj. Else we can take the same weight. That means new weight will be the old one and the new bias will be the old value itself. Then this is the testing algorithm. Now we have trained our network using many inputs, and if it is not belonging to the target class, some kind of weight updations have been done, and within a finite number of steps all the updations will be over and we will get a trained model. Now if we are giving any input image, the testing takes place by using these simple steps. First we have to find out the net input. Here the weighted sum only will be taken, sigma I equal to 1 to n xi wi, and this will be applied to an activation function which have values 1, 0 and minus 1. If the net input is greater than theta, it is 1. If it is between minus theta and positive theta, it is 0, and if it is less than negative theta, it is minus 1. Next is adaptive linear neurons. The unit with linear activation functions are called linear units. That means the neuron in which a linear activation function is applied are called linear units. A network with a single linear unit is called an adalin. That means the input and output is connected using a linear relationships. In the case of adalin, we are using bipolar activations. Activations are used to make the output belong to a particular range. So bipolar activations are used. That means it will have value minus 1 or 1. Only one output unit. And in the case of an adaptive linear neuron, training is done using the delta rule. It can also be stated as Wiedroff-Hoff rule or LMS rule, least mean squared rule. Delta rule for single output. Similar to perceptron learning rule. Actually, the learning rule of adalin is also similar to the perceptron learning rule, but delta rule is derived from gradient descent method. That means in the case of a perceptron neural network, within a finite number of steps, we were able to find out a properly trained model. But here, the final model will converge. That means it will go on. Then delta rule also updates weight between the connections. The major aim is to reduce the error over all the training patterns. By updating this weight, it is to reduce the error over all the training patterns. In the case of an adalin network, the change in weight is find out using the equation alpha into t minus yn of xi. In the case of a perceptron neural network, the change in weight was alpha t xi. Here an additional parameter called net input will be subtracted from the target value. This is for single output class. If we are dealing with multiple output class, change in weight ij, every weight has to be considered, equal to alpha tj minus yi in j into x. This is the adalin architecture. The input will be connected to the associator unit and weighted sum will be find out. Then a t minus yn will be calculated, and finally activation function will be applied and the output y. Here the inputs are either two values, either positive 1 or negative 1. Initially some weight will be taken by the network and will be assigned. Then the net input is applied to a quantizer function that restores the output to plus or minus 1. That means an activation function is applied. The actual weight and the target outputs are compared. If it is not equal, some kind of weight adjustment will be done. This is the training algorithm. First we will initially set the weight value, then we'll set the learning parameter rate, then we'll find out the net input using the equation yin equal to bias plus sigma I equal to 1 to n xi wi. And if it is not we'll find the activation function, and if the output class is not equal to the target class, some kind of weight updations will be done. And at the end, if the highest weight change is not smaller than the specified tolerance error, then the algorithm will stop there. This is the stop condition of this particular training algorithm. Next is testing algorithm. We'll test this using the same equation, that is we'll find out a net input yin b plus sigma xi wi, then apply activation function over the net input calculated. If yin is greater than or equal to theta, it belongs to 1, and if it is less than theta, it belongs to minus 1. Thank you.